So this is a game I made as a game jam submission for Bracky's Game Jam back in like 2021. It's a while ago. But yeah, I wanted to go back and just like update some of these old game jams, make them a little bit better, a little bit more robust and worth people's time. So yeah, last time what I had worked on was for my sort of world system here, where it's like spawning in platforms and stuff. I added these like spawn boxes to more like have more control over how these plants are spawning, these trees and stuff. So that would also give me the opportunity to say like, hey, trees spawn here, something else spawns there. But all I have is trees for now. So first thing I'm gonna try and do today is add a different type of plant and make sure that spawning logic is working. So I was going to just add like a patch of flowers here that could slightly slow you, be slightly less obtrusive than the tree, and just the sort of ramp up of severity over time. So I'm gonna see if I can grab that sprite, but not as a tile map, as like a sprite. So I'm just gonna add it. Well, actually, I guess I should start with a copy of the tree. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So I'm pretty sure I have the tree as a prefab. Yeah, so let's bring in a tree here and turn off that tile map stuff. So I'll rename this to like flower, I guess. Change the physics properties in a second. Let's just start with changing the sprite and knowing for sure we're spawning in a different type of thing. I think it's probably faster for me to just slice this myself than like try and guess what part of the tile map has this like specific flower I'm looking to get. I guess it's slightly wasteful on memory, but in a sort of, barely in an unnoticeable, trivial way. So I'm just hopping over to paint here and just gonna like box select this flower I want. There we go, good enough. And save this as graphics, sprites, flower.png. So let's double check that's saved. There's my flower. I'm using 16 pixels per unit in this project, I guess. And like with this pixel art, I also like there's no reason to have compression and filtering and stuff. It should just look more pixel arty. I should probably also, let me just make the background empty here instead of being like having a color, and it'll just blend in. Yeah, there we go. So now it's clear. Cool. All right. So what is this tile? Oh, that's the, let's get rid of this. Now that we just know it's flower, can change that sprite. That box colliders for a tree, not a flower. So just fix that. Cool. Yeah, it's fine. And then these like parameters here under plank row have to do with like how it pops out of the ground, which I think is some like assumptions about its size and stuff. It might make sense to at a future time try and dynamically figure out this information based on the size of the sprite and stuff. But for now, just like getting into confirming we can spawn different things, I'm just gonna guess. And like these durations actually don't matter that much for the purpose here. So let's make this a new prefab. Yeah, I think that's it. So now, I don't know, I guess under the three, we have like a spawn manager here. Okay, we have a plant manager we're gonna have to update. So let's take a look at that. Not world manager, spawn manager. Yeah, so we have on our spawn manager, we have both a animal and plant manager. So let's look at our plant manager here. So it's got a prefab sort of serialized field here for the tree. It's just gonna also need one for the flower, and I'm actually gonna put it first, because if we're going in order, got an enum here as well, and I'll have to see how it like sort of shakes out in practice. But this might be the kind of thing where it makes more sense to generalize it, and just like have an array of prefabs. But I'll have to see as I get into more stuff. So I have like a generic spawn plant here, which I guess sets up a delegate, in this case spawn tree, at a later time if you want a delay. So add a case here, I guess, for flower. Spawn tree doesn't exist yet, so it's going to be an error, but I'll remember. Okay, so what is spawn tree doing? Can either decide here or just let PSB decide what to spawn. Oh, so like, I see. This used to like hold the potential to. Oh no, this comment is just. Oh, I see what it's saying. It's because like these plants have to spawn on the platforms, right? So it's checking to see if the current platform is falling away. So it doesn't like spawn plants on something that's about to be destroyed or at least like turned off. This doesn't really have any. I don't see how this. Doesn't really have anything to do with you know, a tree specifically. I can probably just generalize this. Something like. I feel like it's already being generalized here. I should just move this like check into up here when like the like request is first queued. So it's checking if it found anything, and if it did, it calls that action. Oh, and then it might trickle out additional ones over time, is what is going on there. Got it. Either way, we want to check if, I'm guessing t greater than 0 indicates that like it is crumbling. So if it is crumbling, if it's not, just keep doing what you're doing before, which is like whatever. Oh, I guess this was kind of, it's like a double check. Because it's with the delay, I should check at the time of the delay is the problem with checking here. But at the same time, it seems annoying that I would have to like copy paste this. I guess like I can try and like make a helper at least. Where I would take in the action. And the name. Because then I can grab this and replace this with delegate name, and this with just like a.invoke. So actually, if we're going into the concept of what this is basically doing by saying like t times 1.1f, it's saying I wait to spawn a tree until like the thing is already gone and we're on to the next one. But if it's going to a system where it's looking at the stuff in its like plant spawn box over here to determine what it's allowed to spawn, then like delaying to the next platform isn't really like a valid thing to do. So I think just here, or maybe I just have like a helper that determines whether you should just not spawn. Just be like, platform is crumbling. Or does this already have, I mean, it's basically a helper that's saying like t greater than 0 here, but am I already doing that? It should just be on here. Get true child map index. But yeah, I think I just have it. This is like the better place for it, I think. Platform, crumbling, const, crumble. What's the problem? Do you not? Is that like is it a public const spool in C#, I think? Or maybe there's not the same. I know that's how you do it in C++. That doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm being lazy, but that's okay. Anyway. So here in spawn tree, we don't need I guess we just put the early out in each of these and then just call through the implementation function. I think it's annoying, but yeah, I don't want to like store data on the class or anything like that. So like the fact that we're in spawn tree like is kind of codifying the information of the plant we're trying to spawn. Yeah. So I think just like blocking spawn during this, like if it's changing, should be enough. Although I think this like begs a question as to whether this like multi-spawn thing, because the multi-spawn is the reason we can't just check at spawn time, because with like an arbitrary like multi-spawn delay. Is it arbitrary? It's probably const. Yeah, it's const. But yeah, with the multi-spawn delay, it's not obvious whether. I guess it is because it's const. I don't know. Let's get our flowers spawning, and then we'll see like the extent to which we want to move this stuff around. So this is just like grabbing a random plant spawn box, which we can helperize. Cool. What else? So yeah, now it's helperized, slightly less copy paste here. All right. And we also have a constant here. I don't know why. This should probably be on the tree, but and again, just in the interest of moving along here. Getting our stuff spawning. I think it should be like much lower. We're just gonna guess. I mean, I'm just gonna look at the scene view anyway, probably. But yeah, let's go PSB spawn plant flower prefab. Let's have a consistent name here. Yeah, and this position is 0 because it's like a local position relative to the plant spawn box. Okay, so now spawn plant like is actually respecting the plant type that's passed into it, and all that stuff is hooked up. But what is actually, we're actually calling spawn plant on the plant spawn box to do the actual thing. So let's go over there. Okay, let's rename this just to avoid confusion. But it looks like it should just work. I don't see a problem. Like it's just moving it up and down. It has like nothing to do with anything. But wait, hold on. Where is, I think something else is like actually calling these spawn functions. What is, you can tell I haven't worked on this in a while. Like how do things work? All right, so we have the plant manager and the animal man, but like I don't see any parent. Oh, wait, is there a world manager script? Oh yeah, there it is. All right, this is probably what's spawning our plants. Effect platform. Wow, that's a S tier. Do thing. So this is like rotating it or potentially crumbling it. It's setting up a cooldown. So spawn plant batch. My plant spawn list. So what's that? What's going on there? Oh, this is just 4 different batches of trees. Pretty funny. All right. Although, yeah, this doesn't really have the data on plant spawn box like I remembered, so I'm gonna have to actually add that. But what is the second number here? Second number is difficulty. Oh, okay, so like the minimum time that this can spawn. Sure. And then last little bit here is to go to this, because now I need to point this to the flower that we just made. All right, let's see. Oh, and let's delete this flower on the world map. All right, let's make some space. That is still a tree for sure. But it's possible I just got unlucky. I should have just like, I think there's a button to like debug spawn stuff. I'm very suspicious of that nothing spawning. Something isn't hooked up right, I think. There's a bunch of trees. Yeah, but if I would guess, this flower is not spawning. So let's plant spawn list, blah blah blah. What am I doing? How am I deciding what to spawn? My current max. Okay. So it's just like getting a max index based on the current difficulty, which is just like the wave counter. Although, I guess, what is this? Oh, I see. You can, so it gets like the max number it's allowed to hit, and then it rolls between like 0 and that max number. And then it actually like sends the signal to spawn the plant to the plant manager. So I'm gonna try just breaking in spawn flower. Oh, it's copy paste. Although, why didn't the tree spawn? I think we're probably fine. Them being at a lower Y, if anything, should have made him stand out more. So I am still suspicious, but with that obvious error fixed, let's see if some flowers spawn. Oh, there's a flower. I didn't even notice I looked away. this up to like a zillion? Wow. Let's make the cooldown like 3 seconds. Difficulty per plant batch. I don't. Oh, okay. If it eventually gets high enough difficulty, it'll spawn multiple batches. But yeah, let's just, yeah, significantly reduce the cooldown for testing purposes here. Yeah, so looks good. They're not spawning like the up and down popping out of the ground based on those like constants, I guess, aren't right, but it is at least correctly, you know, spawning different stuff. And also, we don't have that flower actually doing anything different. I was thinking it could be like just a minor slow, because if a tree actually gets in your way, flowers like you know, at least you notice something happens for like the very first little thing. Your movement is slightly slower through it. I think it just needs to be made like a high friction material or something. Maybe let's take a look at doing that. Well, they were kind of disappearing quickly, so let's see if we need to adjust any of the parameters there. Prefabs, flower. Yeah, target, this can just be like slightly smaller. Obturation should be like, all this stuff should, if it's gonna like be less obtrusive, it can stay around for a little bit longer. Oh, and this delay here needs to line up with how long I want it to be alive. So right now that's 11 seconds. That explains it kind of like seemingly randomly disappearing. Okay. So just double check those values, see how they look. No, that's not right. Oh, it's because it's definitely the value in that one script, but I didn't expect it to be like higher up. All right, and this also, like, let's turn like all of these into flowers. Just we're testing the flowers right now. Oh, I see. I thought it needed to be less underground, but like it doesn't. It still needs to be fairly underground to have room to, you know, move up. I knew it was a crapshoot. But again, like, if I'm gonna be adding, I don't know, a handful more plants, I don't want to guess and check all the time. They need to go up a little bit higher. And then next thing would be to, all right, that seems like pretty much what I want in terms of like, oh yeah, let's watch them go away though. Yeah, everything looks fine there. But so let's mess with their physics now. No box color. Oh well, I forget how like a physics zone works. I think I would have to actually have it be like on the ground if I wanted to care about fiction. Isn't there something like a friction? No. I think there is a way. I do have these like high friction and low friction materials, but I guess the question is how do I get them to apply to like a zone, like a trigger collider? And it's like, so it doesn't actually block. It might just need to be, first of all, let's change this to high friction. All right. Next, is it just like getting rid of the box collider? I don't think so. I think the physics stops working if it doesn't have a box collider anymore. Yeah, definitely no change there. I think I might need to actually just, or at least it seems pretty straightforward to do it myself. I might even already have a script too. There's like, let's see, none of these dash on trigger enter. This is like the opposite of what I need. But I guess when I grab this, oh, I see, it has to be on the player. I think it, I don't need anything fancy here. I just need on my, oh, I lost my plan prefab. Let me go back. On my plan prefab here, I need a new script. We'll call it slow on trigger enter. Yeah. So let's double check how the player is classified so we can distinguish them. Yep, cool. They're on a layer and a tag. In fact, I can have this only collide with the player, and then I don't have to check. It's just always correct. The only thing it can possibly collide with is the player. I mean, it's not really like, it doesn't have gravity. I'm just like spawning it where it needs to be. So let's give it, it's on plants. Let me look at these layers. Project setting, it might already be set up to work. I don't think it's, oh no, it's, so let's have plant only collide with the player and just make sure really quick that that doesn't break anything. Oh, I guess I only spawned flowers and I just turned off flowers box collider, so I would never know. That's fine. I'll remember I did that when I put the trees back in. So I need, it's like on trigger enter 2D, and on trigger exits 2D. We'll we get like the other here, or what is the name of the other? Game object dot. Let's just actually look. Why am I guessing when I can just break in here? But let's make sure this is back on and it's a trigger box collider now. All right. So we just want to break in to our collision function. Double checks everything's hooked up like we expect. Yep. All right. There's the break. Collision. Base. Okay. Yeah. It just gives you the player back. So like this is implicit. So we want to find how is our player moving. It's like the standard QBZ tool stuff I got. Q. So Q move platformer. That's it. So let's say get components. I don't even actually need to get, I can just get the movement interface, right? Oops, inserts on. And we'll save the speed. The only thing I'm worried about is what if they're overlapping? Is that a problem? I think it would be, right? Because like you would hit the trigger exit of the overlapping thing, and you would still be in one, but it already would have fired its trigger enter. So, I think in previous times I've gotten around this by like having a static counter. And like it's like a trigger stack counter, right? Where you can do plus minus one sort of thing. And you know it should always be positive or 0. And it'll be because whenever we enter a trigger, we'll increase it. And well, yeah, S. And then we'll decrement it whenever we exit a trigger. And if it goes from 0 to non-zero, then you apply the slow. And if it goes from non-zero back to 0, so from 1 to 0 or whatever, then you get rid of the slow. So it doesn't matter if you hit 2 in a row, it'll still track that properly. All right, so, and we're also gonna save here slow percentage. Offer it as like a tweakable thing, so then I can make different plants. Like one is 50, one is 75 or something. But we'll just do 50 now for testing. So we say if S trigger stack counter plus plus, because that's like postfix, right? Oh, does it not let you? Oh, sure. Let's just, we don't even need to care about the new value. It's only the current value that could potentially branch our behavior here. And so if we're going from 0 to 1, because this can just be in the common case, we'll actually do whatever it is here, which is collision dot game object. I'm going to add a note here. We can potentially just like get the player once in cache. Although I think I read somewhere that they've done a lot of work here to the point where you can just like get component a bunch of the time and not have to worry as much about performance. Can I get move speed? Great. So we save our previous speed before we do the thing, and then we get a new move speed, which is going to be our previous move speed multiplied by that slow percentage, and then I should at least get it locally. I'm sure, I don't know, does the compiler optimize that out if I'm just super lazy about it? I mean, it's a save me keystroke, so this is both the lazy way and the right way. To new move speed. And then on exits, if the counter is 1, it will be decrementing down to 0 here, in which case we get our thing and just set move speed to previous move speed. All right. Let's see if that works. Oh yeah. Oh, but wait, no. Oh, because I didn't actually decrement it. So yeah, it applies it, but we'll never escape. It'll only ever increase. So let's go back to our trigger here. Yeah, see, so we have the increment here. We need a corresponding decrement. Is there anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. All right. Oh no. I'm trapped. I see. We can't just get the previous speed because if you're slowed, it gets your previous speed. And then if you're overlap slowed, the next bush thinks that your previous speed is half your speed. So really, we just do the thing that is there any like way? I guess it's. Is there any way to get like an original speed? I don't think I store something like that. I could. Maybe I just like do get it on awake. Oh, not a start, not awake, because it might not exist yet. Right, awake just means I exist, doesn't mean the rest of the level exists. Although, because it's spawned in the middle, awake would be fine, but yeah. Fundamentally, like philosophically, it's a start type thing. So, is there like a game object find game objects with tag player? Like technically, I guess here, I would want to assert Because the way I set up the physics collision matrix, I would expect the only thing to ever collide with this should be the player. So we can double check that assumption. I believe. This, if I ever wanted to give you something to speed you up as well, these things might be in conflict, but we can cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, we only have this one thing that slows you down. So, oh, even having multiple things would, well, no, multiple things that slow you down would be fine-ish. They would just have to be on this same static. Well, I guess no. If they're on the same static counter and they have different values, there would also need to be a here where you apply it. You'd have to check if it's like a greater slow and check if it's a lesser slow. You need like a bunch. So yeah, it's maybe not as super scalable, but we're focusing on expanding the plants right now. Let's just keep on expanding the plants. If you want to expand the slows, we'll have to come back here and do some additional work, or maybe rethink this a little bit, but that's okay. It's not like this is a big complicated script that I slaved over. So we're just gonna find the player at the beginning, and let's just save his movement interface. Oh, this is an array. I need game object. Will you just give me the first one you find? Yep. So we save our movement interface, and then we save the original speed. Now, oh yeah, I forgot about this assert. We wanna we should double check that they are the only things that are colliding. Cause who cares if that's true? And if it's false, then if it's false, then it catches a bug for me. You know, as long as that assert is there, I can safely make that assumption going forward. Even though I'm not like strictly using that right now. I guess I am, yeah. If other things were colliding here, it would break this logic, so. It's just m original speed times m slow percentage, and then we set our movement here to original speed. And we don't need to get the movement interface anymore because we're getting it at the beginning. All right. So let's double check this. We get a thing with the player tag, which the player does have, and we get its movement interface. We save its original speed on that movement interface. We double check our expectation that the only thing that is trigger colliding here is the player. Then we use our static counter to determine if you're all the way out of or initially entering the brush, and if either of those things are true, we only like do the change at that time. Makes sense to me. I guess if we're in the business of like being conservative with asserts, can I do greater than? No. I can do is true, right? It should never be negative. Well, this could be equal to 0, but this can't be. All right. This time for sure. Seems good to me. Although we need overlap to really test. Alright, here's a nice overlap. And yeah, seems correct. Oh wait, I got trapped. Did not register. So I bet here I'm gonna break in here. And oh whoops, I died while I was trying to set up the breakpoint. But yeah, we are, something is wrong. It maybe could be like a timing thing. I don't know if I make this atomic, am I gonna like pay some cost? Let's see. What's the problem? Do you not like that? Sure. This is a safe thing to do. I don't see why not. And if we're being real, like, come on, what? How long could that lock possibly have to wait to increment a number? we got 16 milliseconds to work with here. So far, so good. Need like an over. It kind of got like knocked. Ah, yeah. See, I don't know. Something's wrong. Oh, you know what it might be? I don't know if trigger exit gets called. Yeah, let's try not to die. Don't die. Setting up a breakpoint and not dying. But I bet if yeah, so now I'm over here. My counter is just gonna have, yeah, it's gonna have grown. It's 5. So we're having some situation where we're entering the trigger but not exiting it, which, alright, enough of you game music. Yeah, I need this to fire like 5 times. Stop. Yeah, I'm not, it seems like it's possible that it could happen when things are being destroyed. I wonder, maybe I could just like forward looking, it might even actually fix the future problems if instead of counting up stuff, I could just like on trigger continue, just check if you're currently slowed. And if you're not, then slow you. And then set it back on late update. Let's see how that looks. Let's comment out all this junk, and then it's like on trigger. Is there no? Oh yeah, on trigger stay 2D. It needs the O to work. We can still assert that it's the player. Oh, I wonder. The player also has multiple colliders. That seems like that could potentially be a problem. Is this potentially getting triggered multiple times? But that's another thing that should be fixed here, I think. Because then we just do like a late update. Like, is it? Do I also have early update? I don't think so. Yeah. So I would have to have the player late update to reset this and have it be like respected. Yeah, so the idea is I could do it on trigger enter. Or do it on trigger stay rather. I could say like, hey, is your movement speed slower than what I would make it? And if it isn't, then make it that slow. But the problem is, I mean, in both cases, the problem is setting it back. And I could just set it back in late update, but I think that generates the requirement that the player updates after the plants, or the order will just be player update, the player moves with their default move speed, then the plant updates, changes the player's move speed, and then late update just resets the player's move speed back. So I guess I could set it back in late update. Maybe I could have like the same type of like polling system idea, and it's less of a problem. Because actually, you know what might, if it is the case, if I am following through with the theory that the issue is if the issue is things dying and like not exiting, what is this, KU? Yeah. Then all we need is to hook into like on destroy. And we can also just like keep our own private non-static state to know whether we need to decrement. So I'm in contact, here is true, here is false, and then on destroy, if I'm in contact still, then do my atomic decrement. All right, let's, I'm not 100% sure this will fix it, but this at least will test a theory of the bug. So that seems fine, seems fine. I think, yeah, it seems fixed. Oh, that's the wind plus the thing. I'm like, ah, did I get double hit? But no, it seems good. I'm just fighting against the wind here. It should let me go left. No, I have gotten trapped again somehow. And let's test real quick, see if we can break going. And again, is this just run out of control? Or another thing I can check is, so it's 6, yeah, it's his run out of control. Alright, so let's test. The other theory of the bug was that we get into a weird state if we have like multiple of the player colliders do this triggering at the same time. Because like if I remember correctly, our player here, does he only have one collider? No, he's got 3 different colliders for some reason. Alright, one. It's like a main one. Oh, this, I remember this. This has something to do with, it doesn't need 3. It only needs these 2, I believe. But, oh no, wait, these are 1 on each side. Yeah, this is, I remember. This was like dealing with a bug where you could just like smash yourself against the side of the platform and stay up forever. So I had to make your sides like give you little bouncy sides. So if you try and do that, you bounce off. So yeah, all 3 of these are necessary, but them like doing multiple enters could potentially be a problem here. But I think we just have to use this in contact. We already have. And only like do our routine if we're not in contact. And then on the flip side, only do our routine if we are in contact. It seems like maybe it's like happening sometimes when I got hit by an enemy at the same time, or when I'm jumping around, I can sometimes get into it. That seems like the type of thing where I might be like hitting the side, my center, but not my left side, you know, one of the 2 sides. I think I'm hit. No, that's just the wind. That's just the wind. The wind's really going. No, I think I got trapped again. Let's see. Yeah, I feel slow. I am going against the wind, but... Alright, in contact, true. Not anymore, you're not. Oh. So, it seems like it's... Oh, interesting. My original speed is getting messed up somehow. Oh, I see. Because it's on start. So it's whenever... It's the same... It's the issue from the very beginning. I haven't learned anything. Oh no. So it's because just like before, where I would get my original speed on top of my original speed, basically I was getting the move speed. The start is when these like individual plants are spawning, which is the middle of like the game, in which case the player might already be slowed, in which case a plant might incorrectly determine that the original speed is whatever the current slowed speed is. I think my solution is just get the original speed once. I think it'll let me. And we just like initialize to, hey, stop. I didn't mean to debug. Stop. We initialize it to -1. And then here we can say like if it's grade, if it's less than 0. And then, all right. I think I have now messed this up in all the ways it is possible to mess it up, but that means we've gone through all the ways this can be broken and it now should work. Good so far. Our plant boy there just got destroyed, and we seem to register it correctly. Those are two very overlapped plants. Nice overlap there. We get it back, no problem. Cool stuff. I think I'm gonna wait for one more round of flowers here just to be 100% double mega sure. Yeah, I think we're good. All right, awesome. So I'm gonna do what I thought I'd already done, which is let's see if we can move some of the responsibility for the what's it called? Determining what plant to spawn. Like this is the sort of thing. This is pretty easy to do quickly, but I don't know. This sort of like global control is not very good when we're potentially spawning random platforms, and in the future we might want like something where the platforms spawn their specific type of plant, like how I imagine it might be is say a like a desert, because we have like a desert palette here and some cactuses, so I figured that could be sort of higher tier plants. I don't know, we got spooky trees. We could maybe do like an aura around them. We could really actually do the same shit we're doing for the flowers. Just give it make the trigger like a larger area, give it like a spooky aura around it, and then that also that just scales perfectly well if it's the same speed, because it's a bigger flower for all it cares, right? It's still going to be using the same static counter and stuff. So that's cool, but I don't think we're going to do that right now. We're going to sort of finish laying this foundation so that I can say, hey, I want this platform, I'm going to set it up to spawn flowers. Like maybe we can have trees on the left and flowers on the right. That can sort of give me some additional levers to add some like customization, make them feel more interesting and different, less, you know, a little bit less procedurally, a little bit more. I spent a little bit of time crafting it. I don't know. Anyway, how it's currently working is this is like helping it determine, it's rolling based on how long the game is going, what type of thing it wants. So where does that actually happen? So this is like a spawn table thing. That's just like that's getting its max index slot to spawn from. And then it gets that plant spawn data, which is, you know, that pair of numbers alongside the plant type, and then just passes that to the plant sort of manager. but we should, so basically we don't need this rolling to happen here. We need this sort of spawn plant function here in our plant manager. Instead of taking a plant type, it should determine a plant type from the available plant spawn box. And that kind of, we can undo this structure we didn't like from earlier, I think. A little bit. So we already have a way to get our plant spawn box, so let's just go over to the plant spawn box and encode that information. It's good that this is public because we want to go save it. Plant spawn box. Although I don't know if it, I don't know if there's a way to do like a bit field in Unity. I don't think there is. That would be nice. I want like a series of checkboxes, but it's fine. I don't need to. What am I really adding? This will give me my series of checkboxes. It's just a little bit more annoying to type. So I'm gonna have everything be allowed to. Oh, whoops. Yeah, it needs to be cool. Yeah, I guess for now we'll default to true, but I intend to go through and select stuff for my various plant spawn boxes. So I think we just need, maybe they should have weights. Would I ever use them? Sure, why not? Because now I can just say like 0 is no. And if I don't need to, I don't know if I need to handle them individually. This could definitely be like an array of ints, but since we only have 2 things for now, we'll just do 2 things. But, you know, there's a glorious future. We have like 8 things, and we can just have an array that can like implicitly map onto this enum. Anyway, so we're gonna need a if anything, maybe this should live over here, the plant enum. Something to consider, but it's fine for now. Is that something I'm allowed to do? Is it? Oh, platform, plants. Cool. Then we'll just say get plant type. I like the idea of having the prefabs centralized from the like one place on the spawner instead of having to update them on all the places. So I guess it does kind of make sense to go in and out type thing instead of having it all in one place. But yeah, so the way you do this integer type thing is we roll from, oh look, and I actually need, I need a thing anyway. I would have had to have put this in an array anyway, so let's just skip the, I don't know if it will let me set default values. Oh yeah, it looks like it does. Anyway, so and let's do this once. So I'm not doing it every time. But yeah, we'll sum up the weights. just for each int weight int m spawn weights, spawn weight sum plus equals. I think there might be, you could just do like sum, but I'm not familiar enough with C#. Yeah, is this not compact enough? Are you not entertained? So now I have the sum, right? And then I want to roll from the sum to, trying to think, go through like an example. Let's say 3, 2, 1. You'd have 0, 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and then 5. For sort of like the buckets of, if I roll this number, I get the first weight, the second weight, or the third weight, like whatever that corresponds with. So 3, 2, 1, that adds up to, our sum would be 6. So we need to get something from 0 to our spawn weight sum minus 1. And then we can have like a separate sum. We just like we have to find the range that we are in. So we go through the weights. I wonder if there's a better way to map this. No, whatever. All right, let's get doing, you know. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. If I have all this functionality at some later point and I'm having performance problems, I can profile it and actually, you know, use my effort in a dedicated way. Anyway, so basically what you do here is if the roll is less than the current weight, that's, you found the thing, right? So for example, if I, less than or equal to, if I roll a 2, then, and if I roll 2, then 2 is less than the weight of 3. Oh, actually, it should just be less than. Then that means I am in my first bucket. And I actually want to know the I here. And then my weight is some spawn weight sign. All right. So I know my I, and I'm just returning that as an enum, basically. All right. No problem there. All right. But if our roll is greater than the weight, then we subtract the weight from the roll. So for example, if we roll a 3, 3 is greater than 2, and then we would subtract off 2, give us 1 left, and then we go to the next weight, which would have like a local weight of 2, like an incremental counting weight. And so that 1 will be less than 2. And if we want to hit the 5, for example, we roll the 5, right? 5 will be greater than 2, or will be greater than 3. So we subtract off 3. Yeah, I said 2 earlier, but it's right. So we subtract off 3, we have 2 left. So now our roll is 2. We'll have a 2 in here. It's equal, it's not less than. So we subtract off 2. Then we have 0, which 0 will always match, and that'll give us our last bucket here if I equals 2. So yeah, that's how you sort of map these integer ranges to like a, bucket sort of thing. I'm going to make an invalid enum because we should never get here. So I'm going to assert, I don't have assertions in this file. We're going to just assert is true false. Should never happen. But just to make it happy, we're still going to have to return something. And that something will be that invalid enum we made. All right, so now we can set up sort of how much of each plant we want to spawn out of all these plant spawn boxes, but we need to actually move the responsibility for that decision to like actually invoke that new functionality. So our spawn plant here, we're not gonna take in a plant type anymore. We're gonna have to find our plant type by get this. Again, our multi-spawn is a bit of a problem here. I think I'm gonna get rid of this. And I will just call spawn plant many times if I want to do a multi-spawn. Because then I don't have to care about this invoke delay or anything like that anymore. So all the platform is going to say, hey, I'm like running my internal timers to see like how much stuff is happening. At the same time, spawn plant. Plant manager, you worry about how you're going to do that. And I'll tell you if I want you to do it a bunch, but just spawn plant. So I don't even need these actions anymore. I can just go and I can have this as well in a common path. Then we do switch PT, and we can still sort of save an action, do the same thing, because there also might be other stuff I want to do on a case-by-case basis here. I think this construction is fine to keep, even though it's not strictly necessary. We could just like invoke our thing right here. Right, instead of saving spawn tree in action and then invoking the action, we could instead just straight invoke the action. But I think this might be useful from like in a future type thing. It also, like if something goes wrong or unexpected, the game won't crash because like it'll be a no op. All right, so we can get rid of all this. Like these, like encapsulations don't matter anymore. We can just go straight to font flower, and we should just pass in the plant spawn box because we're going to have to. Honestly, even this seems unnecessary. Well, again, you might maybe you want to do a specific thing here. But didn't I say like have up here for doing our specific things? You know, I take it all back. We're just gonna do this. Just do it now. Do whatever you're gonna do, but then we'll leave these instead of making these like more generalized, like one general path. We'll leave them as spawn tree, spawn flower, so that you can do your tree or flower specific whatever. So what needs to happen? Well, plant spawn box still does get passed in because we need to decide. So in spawn plant, we can wrap this all in like we're not crumbling. Like let's not even bother if we are. So we get a random plant spawn box and then plant type. We get our plant type from our plant spawn box. Are you getting me a game object? What are you getting me? No, it should be a plant spawn box. Oh, it's private. Public. So we pick a random spawn box. We pick a random plant it's allowed to spawn, then spawn it. We'll pass the plant spawn box. As PSB. What else needs to happen here? Oh, we need to pass it. And then we need to update our calling convention here in World Manager. I don't think, yeah, I mean, let's just get rid of this. Right, I don't, let's get rid of the spawn table stuff and the rolling. Well, let's just, it really just needs to be pairs of count and difficulty at this point. I think we should, like, the world system is still fine here to just like have a lever or a knob, as you were, to increase the amount of things that spawn in a direct way instead of just like using it like math. Because now we don't have to care. Like the difficulty corresponds to the platforms, and the platforms have their own definition of what plants they're allowed to spawn. So our world manager no longer needs to care about that. It just needs to keep track of, we can keep this because this is just like saying how many things should I spawn, and it like keeps some randomness to the like amount of things that are allowed to spawn. But instead of count here, just invoke spawn plant, but without a type or a count, just spawn plant. And then I think this just like activates a cooldown. All right. What do we expect to see? An equal, at 1-1, we'll expect to see an equal amount of flowers and trees and just, you know, like a consistent type spawning experience. Uh-oh. No overloaded spawn plants takes, oh, I have this debug. It's fine. I forget how to activate those debug controls. Plant data type. Yep, need to get rid of that. What else? All right, no errors. Cool. Let's go. there's a bush, or a flower as it were. Flower again. Can we get a tree? Tree should be possible here. If we get no trees, I would suspect our roll logic is wrong. 3 flowers. It's bad news. More flowers. All right, let's pause. It's also possible. No, that's fine. So I was going to say it's possible that the spawn weights weren't the default values I expected them to be, but they do seem to be 1-1. So it should be a 50-50 shot. I might just have an off by 1 error type thing here. Oh, you know what? Yeah, the range for integers, random.range is exclusive, which means it couldn't roll spawn weight sum -1. It could only roll up to spawn weight sum -2. So it would always roll 0, so it would always roll flower. So let's roll it again. And now for reals this time, we would expect to see an equal distribution of flowers and trees. There's a flower. Hey, there's a tree. Love to see it. The only thing I don't love about these changes is, see, they're all coming up at the exact same time. I would like to reintroduce some delay. I can just reintroduce it at the world level, where it's the one that spawns multiple things, fine. But let's still stagger them a bit so it's a bit less robotic. But in addition to that, let's also go through now and mess with some of our weights to see if the system works like we hope it would. So element 0 here is our flowers. So on our first platform, I want only flowers. And then on the second platform, can we see these sprites? Now we're going to have to show the platform. Okay, so it's there and there. I'm going to try only flowers in this small patch to the right. And we'll do flowers and trees on the left. So that's 1, 0. And we can keep this at 1, 1. Let's take a look at our platform 2. And let's disable platform 0 just for sight. Let's see these sprites. Okay, let's do the reverse here. So we can have only trees in this one. And then this can stay as a mix of flowers and trees. And let's redisable this. Platform 3. This only has 1, so it really should just be both. Maybe we can, let's see how it looks. Yeah, let's, just to mix it up, let's start giving them more trees, so that should be 2/3 trees. Let's return off that. Oh, it is, okay. Oh yeah, I guess I can see you can see the outline. We just did more flowers than trees. Let's do one that's more trees than flowers. Let's do more flowers than trees. Get rid of that. On 5, we again only have 1. Let's do way more trees than flowers, but still the possibility of some flowers. Don't disable that. You disable this. Cool. 6. Here, it's like off to the side a little. Let's do the opposite. Let's have way more flowers than trees. 7. A mix is fine. I think we'll do slightly more trees than flowers. Yeah, they're only, and then finally slightly more flowers than trees. Oh, I missed one. That's fine. We can have 1, 1, 50, 50 at the end here. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see if it makes a meaningful difference. But no, that only took me, what? To go through my 9 spawning platforms. Each of those different zones is going to have a slightly different behavior. Hopefully we'll make it feel a bit more mixed up. But yeah, we gotta actually play through it and make sure it's working. I think we would expect only flowers here. Double check that on our plant spawn box. Yep. And that is what happened. Oops, forgot to disable those sprite renderers. We'll do that after. So you got flowers and trees. Nothing over there. Oh no, there's some flowers over there. Is that correct? Is that what we expected? Ah, don't fall off. Yeah, that seems right. So we have only trees, only flowers. Or no, that is both. Is it supposed to? Yep. Good stuff. This is definitely way too many things spawning, but that's because we quadrupled the spawn rate at the beginning for test purposes. I don't know how much further I need to take this. I'm pretty sure we have. Yeah, that reminds me of the needing to add in a little bit of stagger, just for fun, just for get rid of that roboticness. All right, but yeah, it seems like our spawn weights work, and although they're not the most interesting thing in the world at 2 plants, in theory, I should just be able to add a new plant, sort of add another member to spawn weights here, and then just go through and set a spawn weight for the new plant. As long as it has an enum here, we're good to go. So yeah, let's re-add our stagger. And I think unfortunately what we need, so spawn plant batch. This cooldown, if we were adding the delay in here, we will need to increase the cooldown, but we're just gonna have a void spawn plant impl to be our sort of action that we can invoke. And I can just grab the same delay from here. Probably near plant batch cooldown. So then we do float or nothing. We just spawn the plant here. But we basically build up a delay. So for I equals 0, we go right away. But for subsequent I, we are going to generate a random delay from anywhere from 0 to R value, which is like K something. K platform, K plant, or K multi-spawn. Let me rename that. This needs to be plant multi-spawn delay in this script with other things. All right, so we get some random delay, and we add it up to our total delay. This is just so like it's cumulative. If we were spawning like 10 things, there'll be a small difference between each of them, and it'll go in order. Does it need to be cumulative? Do I want it to be? I guess you can either have the delay be very small and be cumulative, or have it be a bit larger and just like randomly spread them across the delay period, which I think I like better. simpler. So we'll say things can spawn over 3/4 of a second, and we don't need this cumulative delay anymore because we're just gonna, for everything other than I equals 0, we're just gonna delay it that amount of time. All right. Hope is this will look a little bit nicer when there's a lot of spawns. Let's see if that's the case. Oh, I forgot about those guys. I can't change them now because while the game is running, I won't save anything. What am I even testing? Oh, right, that there's like a delay. I have to get to some of the... I mean, you can see just that there are two different trees there. They're slightly off from each other. Yeah, I think the delay is definitely working, but it may need to be bigger. Yeah, let's just make the delay a little bit bigger and do one more test. Oh wait, the sprites. Do it now while I remember. Alright, yeah, you can see with that tree delay, it's definitely, I think the delay is good enough here where it feels a little bit more staggered. Yeah. Cool stuff. Alright, but around 9 I think I gotta finish up, so this seems like a good stopping point. What did I don't think I did. Got close to all the stuff I meant to do. New plant type, yes, did it. Did not rework enemy spawning. It turns out we had to rework plant spawning a little bit because I thought I had already done that sort of relocalization of the sort of logic, scoping the logic to the plant spawn box instead of the plant manager, but it turns out I hadn't. So yeah, some shuffling around of that logic, but I think it actually is in a, I don't know, maybe we can add some trampoline plants. We definitely want to add a cactus eventually that can do a damage. And like we could do a ghost tree that's like a slow but a bigger area. Can have like a little spooky particle effect or something. But yeah, I feel like I laid pretty good foundation to sort of be able to customize the plant spawning in the future and support more types of plants, which is cool. Yeah, I think that the next step will be sort of a similar process. I don't know if it's going to be like a animal spawn box, like I have a plant spawn box, but I need some similar process to have finer grained control over the enemy spawning. I don't love the rats coming out of the air. I think it is kind of a funny look sometimes in the beginning, but it might make more sense to have them pop out of the ground like rats or burrowy boys. I could use one of the other sprites in this asset pack for things that come down from the ceiling and maybe some different types of behavior, like some jumping spiders or something. I don't know. Um, yeah, so anyway, I'll probably be working on like small incremental improvements for this Peaceful Night game. A few more weeks. Um, I want to get this to the point where it has enough depth that it's actually like sort of a bit worth your time to play instead of just like a browser game or a game jam game where people are kind of playing it in the spirit of the game jam. Yeah, like maybe leaderboards and stuff longer term, and much more interesting platform spawning, I think. Yeah, so I'm just ranting off the stuff I want to do eventually, but I'm pretty sure there's a decent chance I've been talking into the void, describing what I'm doing. But maybe someone somewhere is listening to this, and if you are, check out quietbenchzen.itch.io, bottom right-hand corner of the screen there. I have the original version of this game and some other games and stuff. Links to my Twitter is also just quietbenchzen. Check that out if you want. Follow on Twitch. Getting YouTube up soon. But yeah, at least for like a month or two, I'm gonna be pretty dedicated to streaming a couple hours of game dev a week, no matter what. So at least the next few Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I'll be on around this time and stream for a couple hours working on Peaceful Night, some more, and maybe some other games too. I got some other stuff in my top of the pile, interesting log to develop a little bit more. But yeah, so if anyone tuned in, thanks for watching. Or if anyone is watching this in the future where I've archived it somewhere, also thanks for watching. And I will see you later.